Welcome to the Tech Savvy Professor. It's been a while. I don't even want to look back to figure out how long it's been a while. But I'm Marty Cencius, and with me is Eric Perry. And we connected again last week, and we're going to try and continue to do shows with this. We're already into show 73, Eric. Can you believe that in terms of episodes? But what has been going on? I can speak for my life. Just a lot of things going on work-wise that seem to fill up every moment of the day. And then I had I'm going to say joy of my son getting married. And that happened in May or early May. And by joy, I mean all the preparation, all the figuring out the logistics, all of that sort of stuff. And so things have been crazy, and it was just kind of good to reconnect with you. You, I think, have been in the spring dealing with a lot of spring sports and things like that. So it's been hard to find time. Plus, your work has been a bit busy too. So what's going on? What's been happening with you? You look great, by the way. I don't know what you're doing in terms of health-wise, but
I put a gym in the garage.
You did.
So that's been part of it. So I mean, a lot of focus on the health stuff. My wife and I like to joke that sometimes we wave when we pass each other in the driveway, because we don't see each other much otherwise. So, I mean, that's part of it. But, yeah, a lot of kids stuff.
Yeah. What's in your gym?
Just about everything. So I have an elliptical, a treadmill, a weight set, free weights, bench.
Oh, wow,
just
cool.
about anything. Yeah. And it's all secondhand. So kind of piecemealed it as we went, because people tend to get rid of it pretty cheap.
Yeah, I did go to the gym one time at one part in my life and was surprised how much I liked doing free weights and enjoyed weight. I thought, how can anybody enjoy just moving metal around? Until I did it and really enjoyed it. And if I don't die before my retirement, maybe in my retirement, I'll start to do some more of that with the process. So...
Yeah, and my son is really into it right now, so that helps me stay motivated. Cool. He's kind of my accountability buddy. So we do workouts in the evenings, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm still teaching at Kent State and still teaching a full load and enjoying it. This summer is a little different because all we have is teaching. We had to evacuate our building. Not because of any weird chemical leak, but they are doing HVAC service in our building on our floor. So everything had to leave the building, at least on our floor. And I don't think any of the employees in the rest of the building are not in the building for the summer. They're kind of squatting in another empty university building for the summer. So I go between my home and just to the university to teach. I'm not even teaching in Whitehall because that's closed. I'm teaching across the street in other classrooms. And I'll teach until first week in July, and then I'll have the rest of the summer off. So I'm enjoying it. I'm teaching family therapy, which is kind of fun because we do simulated families and it's all experiential. I'm doing everything I can avoid to lecture. Because by this point in my career, I get bored with my lectures. So I do have them already online and folks can watch them and then come to class and do that. So I'm teaching that. I'm teaching group work, which is pretty much all experiential. And then I'm teaching a leadership course for our doctoral students. And besides leadership models, I am getting them to read some classic literature like The 1 Minute Manager and other great kinds of classic literature from the 70s and the 80s about management and how to work with people as a manager. Because I think leadership is great. It's very theoretical. It's in your head. But when you leave your degree and you go work in an academic position and you're in an association and they want you to run something in the association, it's not about theory, it's about practice. So we're trying to put as much practice into it with that. So that's what work has been like for me.
Yeah, I mean, we're hiring, so that's always, it's a lot getting through the hiring process for a couple of fall lines. And I'm actually teaching internship, which I enjoy. It's their last internship course, so they're finishing up their hours and they're kind of deeper into their work with their clients. So the questions have changed from like, I'm nervous to sit with someone. I don't know what to say or what to do, to, I'm thinking about trying this intervention or I'm applying this theory. And I really like that part because there's not a lecture component, right? We're really walking through cases and dealing with kind of the practical realities of the job. So I have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, with family therapy, which is considered a elective course, and most of the folks are either in their practicum or in their internships by then. The fun part is because I get to practice with a family trying to use, and they're the family, they make the family, trying to use a different theoretical approach and acting from that different theoretical approach. And so the simulations get really pretty cool and pretty good. And for me, it's all, in the moment kind of instruction, and I enjoy it. But students will go, now, why did you decide to do that? I go, I don't know. It's kind of gut that took me there. It's not like, why did you do that? That was a bad move. It was like, what made you think to do that? It was like, I don't know. It just felt like things were imbalanced and I needed to focus on that part of it for now. I don't want to intellectualize it too much. Otherwise, you'll think there's some secret recipe that you need to learn in order to do this kind of work. And there's not a secret recipe. So, anyways.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I think that there's this misconception sometimes that it's just, there's a science, but there's an art to this. It's a practice, so I think it really is, something that they have to get used to, that there is a blend to that, and each clinician is different.
Yeah. I like the way you applied circular questionings to this portion of the interview. I did, is sometimes my answer. So, if you give them a set of glasses to look through, they're going to look through those glasses and see what they want to see. Whereas really it's kind of the comfortableness of practice that, and not necessarily the science associated with it. So, when we contacted this morning, I said, let's make it simple. Let's come up with 3 things that people might be interested in spending money on that we have found of value in the time that you and I have been kind of separated in doing this podcast. So I said 3, you came back with 4, so we're going to start with your first choice. Why don't you talk about this keyboard?
Okay, so I'm going to edit my story a little bit. So I had a client that was really bothered by the sound of my keyboard, and we do some assessments pretty regularly that involve a little bit of typing. And I do most of my sessions now via telehealth. So kind of been walking through, I tested out, I think, 3 different keyboards. And this one in particular has full-size keyboard, which is important for me as somebody with larger hands. The ability to swap out keys, it's backlit. You can change the lighting and settings. It's a relatively decent price, so $90 I thought was pretty good for a keyboard. It charges via USB, so it is wireless. Connects via Bluetooth, or you can use the kind of dongle for USB. Battery life is great. It is a little heavier, but it's almost silent. So I really enjoy it. I think it's something that I've taken now and traveled with, and it seems to travel pretty well. And I have broken a few keys here or there, and they come off relatively easy, and you can order a set. They're interchangeable with other keys. They also feel kind of soft, but also give you a little bit of pushback so that you're pressing the button. So it's definitely one of my favorites. And for anybody that travels, like I said, it's a little heavier, but it travels pretty well. So I tend to take it along with me.
It is the EPOMAKER TH108 Pro full-sized mechanical keyboard with screen and knob, wireless gaming keyboard with 10,000 milliamp creamy gasket. That sounds like a delicious dessert. Hot swap customer driver. It's ironic we're talking about your clients being upset with your typing, your noisy typing. I have the same problem in doing podcasts, and actually I changed my mic position from being close to me on the table to being at the back end of the table coming over the top to get away from the vibrational stuff that was happening when I was typing. And I like chiclet keyboards. I like flat keys, again, because of my large fingers. You've almost convinced me to try this one. And who knows, for $90, that might be something I'd want to get and give a shot at. I don't like those big, deep keys. The alternatives that because I use the Apple Magic Keyboard, nice flat chiclet keyboard, but still that makes a lot of noise. So I found, because I hit really hard, I found some keyboard foam that it sits on top of, and also a keyboard pad that is actually a gaming pad that it sits on top. Still too noisy. So the thing that I like is the Touch ID that's on it, so I can work and use my password through Touch ID. The alternative I found was a Logitech keyboard that it's even quieter, and it's kind of a very cushy type of touch, but it's chiclet keyboards with a little bits of impressions, so you don't roll off the keys. But trying to get a silent keyboard, particularly when podcasting, for me has been a challenge. And I've had people call me on it. So.
Yeah. And this one, like I said, has worked pretty well for me. I don't mind the mechanical keyboard. I've used them for a while, but the traditional ones tend to be really loud, and I actually like the sound, weirdly enough. Like I personally wouldn't mind the sound, but other people complain. So this is my choice to keep that to a minimum.
Yeah, we will have all the links for this in the show notes of the video as well as the audio portion of the show. So if you're listening to us on a podcast, check the show notes. You'll get the link to these products. And we're not getting any kickback for this. We're not. There's not a product linked to us. It's just something that we thought you might enjoy to spend some money on. Okay, so this is my first choice, and my first choice for a lot of reasons. And I don't know, we have not talked about this, so I don't know your thoughts on it, and I'm curious about it, but it's the MacBook Neo. This has come out in the last 2 months, and it is a 13-inch laptop that is Apple-based for under $600, or for $600, educational discount, $600. And it is full aluminum housing. It is really remarkable in terms of what it can do. It's based on an A18 processor, which is basically a phone processor with 8 gigabytes of RAM on it, which scares the Windows people away. And I say that because Windows people think of 8 gigabytes, and the memory management in Windows is completely different than the memory management in Macs and Apples. With Windows, they're keeping everything running under a certain amount of memory. With Mac, their architecture is set up to swap out the memory as needed. So things run remarkably smooth with this. There's a whole creative suite that comes with it, including things like Final Cut Pro, and that runs on it, which is people would think is unheard of. Fair disclosure, I started a podcast the week that these things came out called The Neo Notebook, and that's on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We live stream it, and of course you can pick it up at but it's sort of the weekly news that's going on with this and what's happening with it, and competitors that are coming into play with these kind of sub $600 notebooks. Of note, this is hitting the college market like crazy. And because now this is an entry Mac for people who have like iPhones or have other kinds of parts of the ecosystem. You have the security that's involved with Mac, and now it's become more available to the masses. I have 2 of them. Don't ask me why I have 2. And I take them. This is my work laptop now. This travels back and forth with me to work. Do you have any thoughts on this? Have you paid attention to this at all?
So yeah, we talked about it a while back, and I don't even think I mentioned it to the kids, but it wound up on both of their birthday lists, right?
Okay.
Hugely popular. They're big Apple users. So this was like, hey, we don't have to pay $2,500 for a Mac. We can kind of, these are feasible. So, they're excited, and I think it's going to be something my son gets here in July. So I'm excited about it to have kind of an affordable option for them. It's a little bit harder with the schools who tend to gravitate towards the Google Windows space. So some of the challenge, I think, for them will be navigating some of that, because most of what they want to use it for is schoolwork. But yeah, I mean, I think it's really neat.
What we're seeing is in Kansas City School District, one of the largest school districts, has gone and bought 30,000 Apple devices, 6,000 of them being MacBook Neos, the rest being iPads. And they're looking like iPads for K through 8, and then Neos laptops from 6 through high school in terms of devices. They are much more easily repairable than previous Macs. And they're within that price range where and then you have the security issues that you get with this. The difference is, if you're working on a Chromebook, you and I will argue this point, are you working on a true independent file operating system? And that's what they will be doing in the workplace. They're not going to be working necessarily with Chromebooks in the workplace. So for the price of a Chromebook and the price of a cheap Windows PC, this hits the market. And I think we're seeing a lot of schools moving back into using these devices along with the low-end, low-cost iPads that are available. Mm-hmm. So And this came out, of course, in March, April, just about the time when schools start considering their fall purchases. So we'll see.
And I think part of the sell was it scares the teachers, right?
But
your Windows users there.
Oh.
They're afraid to have to be IT support for the kids who are going to know better how to use it anyway.
Well, yeah, I got news for them. That already happens with Windows.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, teachers want to teach. They don't want to learn anything new. Come on.
Right. Ridiculous.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. I enjoy it. I haven't seen too many in the wild yet. I have a couple of students who got one in the spring and another one that I saw this summer with it. And we'll see what happens as things turn around. But a $600 fully operational, as fast as an M1 Mac is pretty amazing for it. So let's go to your second choice.
Yeah, so for this one, I picked the Plaud Note. I've talked about the pin before, and this is similar. This recorder is kind of it's a small pad about the size of a credit card or so. Long story short, my uncle is working as secretary for a professional organization, and he kind of fell into the role and is like, listen, I don't know if I can do the note taking. You know, he's worked in gas and oil for a really long time, so he's not very tech savvy. So we walked him through actually setting one of these up and starting to get his notes transcribed and use the note summaries that Plaud provides. Does some really cool stuff. They actually have a desktop native app now that you can use to record if you don't have the Plaud device on you. The subscription, I think, is $20 a month. But without a subscription, you can do, I think, 300 minutes you can store at a time. So it's just been a really useful tool for him as somebody who's really scared of tech. And it kind of puts everything together for him. And he knows enough to get in and edit. I've also really enjoyed it for course development, just using the pen and getting ideas down. There's tons of stuff out there, you know, in terms of AI tools that you could use. I like it for the more impromptu stuff, and the management of the transcription and summaries, I think, does a really nice job of capturing your kind of to-do lists, your action items, your really important details. It also does really well with speaker identification. So if you want to know who's talking and you label folks, it can pick out those distinct and individual voices, which I think has been just a really cool tool that takes the least amount of time in editing, at least from my perspective, of the other tools that I've used. So I think well worth the spend.
Yeah, it also MagSafes onto the back of your phone, which is also pretty cool because it fits on like your phone, like if you had a wallet attached to the back of your phone. I have one of these devices and have had it pretty much since they came out. When I do talk about AI and I talk about recording devices, this is one that I talk about because you can also get a business associates relationship with them. And that kind of helps with protection around HIPAA and other aspects. It's a great little device. You look at it and you go, oh, that's a quaint little recorder that's going to do transcription, but it does way so much more, particularly with the software. Whether you're using the software on your mobile device or whether you're using the desktop, the level of its AI capabilities, it sort of feels like Otter AI or Descript AI with, when you talk about it can identify particular speakers. And once you label a speaker, it will then go through the rest of the transcript and make that association. So the transcript comes out with speakers associated with it. These are great for doing minutes because particularly if you have a format for a meeting agenda, You can take the meeting agenda and submit it, and it will organize the minutes around the meeting agenda framework that you're using. Really cool device. Most people get creepy weird to think that you are recording them in a meeting. That's the one thing that is. There's always going to be someone who's like, I don't want to be recorded. I don't think that's fair, blah, 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 blah. So you have that challenge of getting them to agree to do that, or you're back to typing with no devices. And I think that's a credible waste of energy for folks to be a stenographer in this time of life. So,
agreed.
Great device. The pin is also a very good device. Information hooks in through the pin, similar. But this little attachment to the back of your phone is easy to take with you and not forget. My next choice kind of goes with, you've got a laptop, and if you're teaching and you're going to various classrooms and you need to hook into the system, this is a MOKiN 10 gigabytes per second USB-C hub Ethernet, 7-in-1 USB-C adapter for MacBook Pro Air, 4K at 60 hertz HDMI. It is a remarkable little device for $25. And I was searching out, trying to find a USB-C hub that did not have all of this. I don't need USB-A connectors. I don't need micro SD, because I'm not putting my pictures in. I want as many plugs going into this thing that are USB and high speed as I can, because it's going to go into one port, and I'm going to need it. Has a power through for it too, so it's not just a dummy hub. It has power in it, and it's just remarkable. I use it. I have one in each of my bags, so I can take it to pick up the bag, and I know I can take it to the office and work with the system, because in our classrooms, you go to one classroom, you get one setup, you go to another classroom, you get another setup. All I got to do is find the HDMI, plug it into my laptop, and I'm ready to rock and roll with this thing. So very cool. Also very good for travel. So I have a couple of these, and I know friends who bought them on my suggestion. They have USB 3.1. They have two 10 gigabyte USBs, and they do have a USB 2.0 for that old timey stuff, and then the 4K HDMI, and then the Ethernet input. So very, very cool little device. $25, and should be in your bag as a dongle if you're taking your laptop anywhere to and from the office.
And I find it somewhere that I present, there will be a port. I'll be one short, right? Like I'll be one short on a USB-C that I want, or it makes things a lot easier to have that with you.
Yeah, I take it because if I'm somewhere at a conference and I want to do a podcast, this allows me to get everything plugged in that I need. Microphone, headset, everything with this one little device. So let's go to your second item or third item.
So, mentioned the fitness angle earlier, but I'm actually finding that sitting for long periods of time is tough. At home, I have a desk that lifts, standing desk. It's not always an option going somewhere. So I was looking for something that I could use in travel that packed up well, that would give me the ability to stand up and have some adjustment. This one's a little bit more expensive, but it's probably one of the sturdier and more compact that I could find that would fit a 17-inch. So there's tons of these out there, even if you don't want this one in particular. My concern was, how flat does it fold up? How easily can I pack it? And is it going to hold heavier laptops. I have a pretty large Alienware laptop, and it does really well. So if you travel and you want to take that kind of standing desk with you, this was a pretty easy way to do it. Again, there are cheaper ones, but this one has seemed to work really well, meeting the criteria that I needed. Simple thing, but it makes my travel working a little easier.
Yeah, this is a lifelong ergonomic adjustable laptop stand for desk, extra tall, 20-inch height, aluminum laptop riser, portable foldable computer stand. It is, I'm looking for a manufacturer on here, Lifelong Store. I guess Lifelong is its brand name. And again, we will have the links for this in the show so you can take a look at it. If you're listening to the podcast or listening or watching the video cast, you'll be able to get the links directly from the show notes with that. My final one seems kind of simple, but I wind up picking these things up for presenting. I do not understand why classrooms are set up so the computer's at the front. And what I don't understand is why teachers sit up in that corner behind the computer and do all their lecturing that way. This is a presentation clicker PowerPoint wireless presenter remote. It's ClickButton, CLIKBUTM. And it has advance, it has links, it has a laser pointer for it, and it sort of fits on your finger like a key ring or a ring. I have one of these. I don't have this exact one because I went to search for it and it's gone. So I found this one. They are really pretty cool. I will tell you, I have really big Hulk fingers, and to slip it on, it doesn't fit as well as it should, but it works. The beautiful part of this is attached in it is the USB-C or USB-A little dongle. So you pull it out of the device and you can plug it right in, and USB-C or USB-A into whatever computer you're using, and you're free to roam the room. You're free to stand behind students who are playing solitaire on their laptop. And you can teach outside of having to stand up where the teaching station is. And nice little device, handheld, basically PowerPoint clicker with some other cool stuff with it. It's rechargeable, so there's no batteries associated with it. And I think it's a USB-C. I've had some of these that were like the USB-B weird kind of plug that you have to then search through piles of plugs to find one to charge it with. So this is more of a common USB-C plug. So $22 on Amazon. This one I found, and it has pretty good ratings with it. Do you're doing most stuff online now? So, but when you present, do you use these kind of things?
I do. I need to upgrade mine. I actually have one that looks like a pen and has little buttons on it. Part of the reason I didn't use it was because the buttons are too close together and it's too hard to hit them indiscriminately. We're finding out that our hands are issues tonight, Marty. So I want to try something that has a little bit more substance to it.
And some of these are counterintuitive because you think, I want to go to the next slide. You press the up arrow. No, you actually press the down arrow. So you have to get used to each device in terms of which way is advancing. They should just put the arrows left and right, but then that wouldn't make much sense either. So you've got to figure it out when you do it. So they're pretty cool little devices. When I work with students and they co-teach with me, this would be my going away present for them, because I never want to see them standing behind a computer up at the front of the classroom teaching from there. And so this is sort of, you have no excuse now here.
I can't do it anyway. I wander away talking and then have to go back to hit the button if I forget. So I'll be a mile away from it and then have to walk all the way back to advance the slide. Yeah.
The other thing is, if you move away from the desk, sometimes you move right in front of the screen. So I have to walk down the aisle to do whatever I'm doing so I'm not blocking the student's view of whatever's up on the screen. So let's go for your last extra little piece you needed to throw in. I thought about getting one of these. I really thought about getting one of these. But I drink coffee so fast, and I drink it at sort of room temperature. I hate hot coffee, but it doesn't linger. You know, I guess I can set this. So let's reveal what you're talking about here is the Ember temperature controlled Smart Mug 2. 14 ounce.
It's been upgraded.
It's been upgraded. It's a 2. App controlled heated mug with 80-minute battery life and improved design.
Yeah, I am a bit addicted to coffee. I drink a lot of coffee. And I don't like steaming hot coffee. I think I have my settings on here saved. But somewhere in and around 130 degrees is where I keep it. So it's hot, but not like coming out of the pot hot. And it comes with presets for all the different kind of drinks. And I also have a habit of getting really into something and coming back to a cold cup of coffee. So I'll spend an hour into something and then remember that I had it and it's still warm. And the thing that I really like about it is it doesn't burn the coffee. It heats it very slowly and does just enough to keep it warm. So you can use those presets. You can control it with the app and the presets. And there are actually travel mugs. There's different types of lids that you can buy. Yeah, that picture that we're showing now shows like a travel lid. I haven't taken it too far away to know really how long the battery lasts because really it's just important to me that it's hot at my desk. But I think it's just a really cool thing to have if you're into coffee and hot drinks and you have a tendency to forget that they're there. You come right back to a still warm cup of coffee.
Is it dishwasher safe? I would assume no.
No.
Yeah, that means I will get 1 cup of coffee out of this thing if I purchase it. Because it is going right in the dishwasher.
Yeah. I make it a point not to set it outside the office because I have to hand wash it. If it gets set in the kitchen, it's going in the dishwasher. Yeah.
So we are talking about the Ember Temperature Control Smart Mug 2, 14-ounce app-controlled heated coffee mug with 80-minute battery life and improved design. And you get different, you can get like, I don't know, I guess this is a steel or stainless steel one. Most of the prices are around $98, except I think this is a stainless steel one. Yeah, it's a stainless steel one, which is 140.
And they make a travel mug version too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So very cool. Very cool. So I guess that does a wrap for now. And we have been on and we've been rolling for quite some time. So anything else, or we can say good day for now?
Yeah, but we got to come up with some good ideas for the next one.
Yeah, we will do that. Again, this is the Tech Savvy Professor. You can email us at ThePodTalkNetwork@gmail.com. If you have any questions or things that you would like to suggest for shows or stuff that you would like us to research to get some answers for you on, we're happy to do that. Check out ThePodTalk.net. That is the website that contains all the shows, the Tech Savvy Professor being one of those that's under the umbrella of ThePodTalk.net and other shows that I'm on and other shows that I produce. And of course, you can find us on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@TechSavvyProfessor. And you can get past shows and just look for us on any of your podcatch services. And you'll find us there with past shows, and also current shows will come up if you want to listen to the audio. All of the links that we talk about in the show will wind up in the show notes, and so look for them there, and you chase them back, and maybe you have some good ideas from that. Thank you, Eric, for doing this. We'll get another show out maybe next week, and try to be a little regular with this and come up with some fun stuff. And listeners, thanks for listening and joining us. You're now part of the Tech Savvy Professor.